What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Haulin Bass TV. Before we get into anything, I just want to say thank you guys so very much from the bottom of my heart. We reached 400 subscribers in between last video and this video, and I just want to say thank you guys. You guys are absolutely amazing. So today we're going to get into tank testing craws. I have done some of it in the past, I just haven't filmed any of it, and I figured if I'm curious what they do in a controlled environment, I'm pretty sure you guys are just as curious. Let's roll that sweet, succulent intro and get right into this video.
I don't think you heard me.
So let's go over the 8 craws that we're going to be testing today. The first one we're going to be testing today is the Vile Craw by Biospawn. And that's what the actual craw looks like. The next one we'll be testing is the Yum Christie Craw. The third one we'll be testing is NetBait's Baby Paka Craw. And then we're going on to BizBait's Cutter Craw, the Zoom Speed Craw, the Rage Tail Rage Baby Craw, Googan Bait's Krackin Craw, and the last one we'll be testing today is Zoom Z Craw Jr. Now I would stick through this whole video because I think you guys are gonna be pretty surprised at the different actions that each one of these craws have underwater, or the lack of action that they have, and also the amount of buoyancy in each craw. So let's get over to the tank and start testing these craws out. The first one we'll be testing today is the Vile Craw, and it's got an actual pretty beefy craw body compared to most of them. It had quite a bit of action underwater. It wasn't the most buoyant bait, that's for sure, as you can see as it lays down a lot of times. But one thing I like is how those claws actually split apart a lot of times when you're moving the bait. They split apart and that center one stays where it's at. There's a good slow-mo shot coming up here of it actually swimming through the water, and that's what we do with most of these. There it is. This thing actually swims, and it does have a lot of movement. The next one we're going to get into is the Yum Christie Craw. There's the actual bait. This is a little bit smaller bait, and I actually had a problem. A lot of the bait's appendages actually were bent and didn't like to perform well. It is a rather buoyant bait. It does stand up off the bottom really well, which is something that I like in my craws and a lot of my baits, is I want them to actually stand up rather than fall. It does have quite a bit of movement in the appendages when you got them straight. There was a slow-mo, and you can see how much kicking action it does have. The next one we got up is the NetBait Baby Paka Craw. This one actually surprised the crap out of me. It has so much movement in the appendages, and it is extremely buoyant. I don't know if it's because it's more of a tube bait than a solid bait, but this thing stands up like no other craw out there that I have tested. And those appendages flail every time you move it. And so you see that those appendages are moving a little bit. The crazy when you're swimming that thing, how much they're moving. Look at that. That's insane. I was extremely happy and surprised at how well the net bait moved and how buoyant it was. Next up is the BizBait's Cutter Craw. He's actually local to North Carolina. I really like a lot of his products, and this is the Cutter Craw. It can be used Texas rigged, but on a trailer it seems to do a little bit better. It's more of a swimming bait than an actual standstill bait, but the appendages do have a ton of movement even when stationary because they're so thin. And as you see, those things kick like crazy. It is a semi-buoyant bait, not the most buoyant that we've seen as you saw the net bait, but those appendages are going crazy compared to most of them. The Zoom Black and Blue Ultra Vibe Speed Craw. This thing was actually quite buoyant compared to what I thought it was going to be, but there wasn't much action in the appendages. As soon as you stopped moving the bait, they pretty much settled in and did not move at all. As you can see with those swimming, there's a little bit of movement there, but not a whole lot. The Rage Tail Rage Baby Craw, this thing actually kicks an absolute ton. They're actually quite large appendages. They have a ridge on the edge of them that lets them move a ton of water, and it's quite a buoyant bait, especially with it being so small and on that larger hook. It stood up very, very well compared to a lot of these baits, and that's so much movement there. That's insane. Next is the Krackin Craw by Googan baits. This bait actually, it's not buoyant at all. As soon as you hit the bottom, it falls, which is something I don't prefer in a bait, but the appendages do move quite a bit. You see that it's not standing up. It's not even trying to stand up compared to a lot of the other baits. The appendages do move a lot, as you see there. And it has a very rhythmic movement rather than a random movement compared to some of the other baits. The last one we got is the Zoom Z-Craw Jr. It's a rather buoyant bait, and this thing actually surprised me at how well it stood up compared to some of the other ones. I was actually very pleased at the price point compared to how buoyant it was. It does have a subtle action compared to a lot of the other ones, but it's still a nice little kick that will get their attention when it's falling. All right, y'all. I don't know about you, but I learned an absolute ton from this tank test. I was actually very, very, very surprised at some of them, at how they acted, or even the lack of action that they had compared to some of what my previous thoughts were. So I have my personal opinions on which bait I liked the most and which bait actually surprised me the most. I want you guys to leave a comment down below which one you liked the most and which one surprised you good or bad with this tank test. Also, I had a ton of fun doing this tank test, and if you guys want to see more content of it, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, because it lets me know that you guys like the tank test. And if you do like the tank test and want me to do more, I want you to suggest down below what you want me to test next. If it be worms on a shaky head, if it be worms on a drop shot, if it be creature baits, jigs, whatever you guys think that you want to see next, make sure you mention it down in the comments below. Thank you guys again for the 400 subscribers. I'm blown away that there's that many people that want to watch my videos, but thank you guys. If you want a sneak peek into everything that's going on, head on over to Haulin Bass TV at Instagram. Make sure you hit that follow button. They know what's going on and what videos are dropping way before YouTube does, sometimes a week, sometimes even a month ahead of time. Make sure you hit that follow button so you can get those notifications, and it'll be in your feed. And make sure you smash that subscribe button. It helps more than you'd ever know. Thank you guys. Have a good one.
Spartans! What is your profession?